Lexus, just for anybody that doesn't know that car, is a car that Lexus created a few years back. It's not actually a classic car, but it's definitely, I would say, a future classic. And it was 9 years in the making. And it's got a Formula 1 engine in this thing. It sounds like a Formula 1 car. It is absolutely awesome. Some of you Fast and Furious fans would have seen it in one of the movies. What's the character that drives that? I can't remember. That's it. There you go. Thank you so much. But that's definitely a future classic.
It is.
I have to interject there as well, Shazad. That's actually a mark for future classics. If you look at cars built in the 50s and 60s, on which manufacturers actually made a loss on every single car they made, they are absolutely skyrocketing in value. BMW 507, handmade cars, failed as a car.
I think Gaurav, it was a very good point. If the manufacturer lost money on a car, it's going to go up in value. So everybody out there right now, top tip for you guys, go out and buy a Bugatti Veyron. Because the manufacturers lost tons of money on those. So go and buy one of those. I want to go back to Brian actually, because I want to just complete this issue about insurance. I really want to understand, can I insure a classic car? Can I feel safe in driving it around?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we will actually provide evaluation service. I mean, we scour the, we've got UK markets, US markets, and we get values, based upon auction prices. We will agree with the client, that's a specific value for your car. There's no book price. It's what the market is prepared to pay. And these cars are unusual, and as I say, we're one of the few companies that will actually look at them, and we'll revalue them on a quarterly basis if auction prices.
So just to be clear, it is a comprehensive coverage.
Fully comprehensive, absolutely.
For a classic car.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No matter how old it is.
No matter how old. They may carry a fairly high deductible. It could be a $5,000 deductible, a $10,000 deductible, so you pay the first $5,000 of any accident.
That's like an insurance excess.
It's fairly normal, yeah. So you would probably carry a slightly higher deductible. But apart from that, no, there's nothing unusual about insuring classic cars.
Gaurav is positively almost jumping out of his chair. I feel he has something to add to this. So over to Gaurav.
It's again, when I was trying to help a large number of people to do insurance, there are about 4 or 5 companies out here that will do it, but they do it on a very selective basis. It's not generic. It's not a standard product. When I was registering my hot rod, they actually had to create a special category for me and say, we never knew this category existed, but now it does. And it's not just for my hot rod, it was for my MGB, it was for my Toronado, it was for all my cars. But where specialist companies were involved, the initial point was your car had to be either tied to an asset class of a combined value of $100,000, correct? So what they weren't doing is they weren't offering generic insurance for people who had entry-level classic cars, say which they could have bought for 20 to 50,000 dirhams. What they did was because of the volume of the business wasn't proportional to the substantial cover of the insurance policies, they had said that you have to have something within the region of $100,000 of value before we entertain the actual package coming through. And I know this because I've spoken to 8 insurance companies, including yours, 7 years ago, year on year, about this in much detail.
Well, I think I managed, when I came 6 years ago to the country, I started to, I had a rental car, and I felt like I could bring it off-road, so I started to drive.
Did you take the rental car off-road?
Yes, I did. I shouldn't have done that.
Did you tell the rental company you were going off-road in your Mitsubishi Lancer? I'm just putting a name on that.
I wouldn't have told them that, really.
But that's very dishonest of you. We have a dishonest guest on stage. Go, carry on.
So it was an amazing experience, and from that time on, I would just want to explore more. I just wanted to get out. I just wanted to see what's in the UAE. Then I started to look further to Oman. When Oman was done, I looked further into Saudi. When Saudi was done, we moved.
Wait a minute, you've actually gone into Saudi?
Yes, we did.
And you've come back?
We did come back, yeah. It was 2 weeks of an amazing experience indeed.
It seems like it, but I've never heard of anybody who's actually gone to Saudi and gone off-road. I've heard of people who've gone for Umrah and Hajj and all of that stuff, but actually for a kind of a trip, a tour, you really have to tell us all about it. So you've done quite a few amazing things, and we have somebody else who's also pretty amazing in his own right. Neville from Fiat Chrysler Auto, and of course, a well-known journalist in his own right. Neville, tell us a little bit about the things you've done, and hopefully you'll have the time to talk about other things as well.
Well, I haven't been to Saudi on an expedition now, but I did go off to the Sahara way back in 1990, and I crossed the Sahara Desert in North
My fault.
in North Africa. We crossed the Sahara right from, we started in Morocco and Casablanca, went through Morocco, Algeria, Niger, and ended up right down south in Nigeria.
And what did you do this on? Because you didn't do it on 4 wheels, you actually did it on 2 wheels.
Yes, I did it on 2 wheels.
Was it a Harley Davidson? Was it a really powerful motorcycle? Was it a KTM? Was it any one of these cool brands?
No, it was none of these cool brands. It was a small 100cc Honda scooter.
You sound quite crazy.
It was an automatic, twist and go type of scooter. 100cc, 10-inch wheels. It did not go very fast.
When we look at those vehicles, the engine, the climate control, transmission, literally all the functional hardware is going to meet the conditions of GCC, focusing on sun, sand, and speed.
Sun, sand, speed is a good place to be. James, you actually work on development. You actually make sure that these cars are fit. What do you do?
Okay, so basically within the region we get a lot of manufacturers that come to us so looking to get an experience and basically they cannot get anywhere else in the world. Dubai and the Middle East is a very, very strange part of the world where you can go to Arizona and you can get the heat in Arizona. And you can go to the cold, and you can go to Sweden and get the cold for the cold weather testing. But one thing you can't find is the situations that we have here in this region. So with the sand ingress coming into the car, with the extreme heat that we have in the summer months, 50 degrees plus, this does take a toll on the cars. And our job is to try and put it through as much testing cycle and durability cycle during those hot months as possible.
For example, having the Noble behind you, to make sure that we have, that we can do things that are interesting, that people want.
So that's one approach, is you're selling basically brand new cars that are built in the classic style, some modern, some new.
With warranty, with a service plan, you can find.
You sell cars without warranty as well? Excellent. No, they don't. Eras does not sell cars without warranty. Or if it is, John will personally underwrite every car. Moving on to Alan, your cars are basically rebuilt in the old style. I mean, can you tell us what makes that so different?
Well, our legend is still making cars how they used to be made. So what we do is exactly what we've always done, and that is
but with a younger workforce.
With a younger workforce, we have apprentices and so forth.
We're talking about cars, how to tune your car, how to customize your car, how to make it look like something, even the Fast and the Furious, maybe. And there's basically 2 types of tuning, isn't there? What?
You said Fast and Furious, I said yes.
Him yes, actually absolutely tasteless. But we're talking about 2 kinds of tuning. We're talking about the kinds of tuning where you go to a garage, maybe in Sharjah, maybe in Satwa, maybe wherever, and you tune that car yourself, or you find somebody who's very knowledgeable. We're also talking about dealers now are doing tuning as well, right? So what is the difference between those 2 kinds of tuning? Zlatko, you're the expert.
At the dealership, things can get complicated. They have a certain line that is drawn and they're very wary of crossing it. So for instance, we look at the setup like our friends at Al-Gandhi. They're a car dealer and they know where the limits are, right? Then there is the next stage is Al-Gandhi Customs, where you can install high-performance products that are approved by the manufacturer. And then we're going to go all out, the stage number 3, which is GeForce Performance, where you can do any kind of high-end tuning. Now, going to the local workshops, it's...
Is it a risk? Should I be doing that?
Depends on what you want to do, but there is the whole range of very experienced setups, good mechanics, quality parts and quality procedures, and we have also the other end. So
that's the problem, is a lot of people standing here thinking, how can I tell the difference between a shop that knows what they're doing and a shop who shouldn't be holding a spanner? How can I tell the difference? I mean, how do I know? I'm educated myself, but I still don't know how good that guy is going to be, right?
I think you have to shop around, you have to talk to friends. Usually shops get recommended by friends and you hear about them through a good or bad experience, right? So you would also know what shops to avoid, where not to go because of their poor procedures and quality. So there are many ways, but it's not something that you learn within 1 day or 1 week. It takes time.
So it's an investment and it's a relationship as well. You meet people at these things, that you meet friends, you make new relationships, don't you, when you go to these tuning shops?
True, that's true.
Yeah.
If you compare UAE and the whole Middle East with Europe and the States, Middle East, they are a little bit on the backstage, so they are working to make it better. If you compare it with the UK, you can go and get a modified exhaust on your car and you can make your registration without any problem. But here, I think they are changing the laws. They are putting some good laws for the guys because it costs you a huge amount of fortune to put a suspension, brakes, exhaust.
It's not cheap. People spend lots of money on their cars, right?
And it costs you money and it costs you time to change this part to standard parts. Not everyone is free.